Hi there, this is Lucy from Sling Library. Someone asked me today how to prevent their kid popping the seat in a ring sling. That's when they try to stand up and the ring sling falls over their bottom. And so I thought I'd make a quick video showing some top tips. I think I've got three that help prevent a seat pop, which is obviously a bit dangerous because they could slide out from underneath. It's more common with older kids, so 4 months plus typically, who've discovered that they have really strong legs. You can still use ring slings, but you just have to take some extra care and caution. So tip number one, I'm going to pre-make my pouch before my kid gets in. So I'm thinking in thirds, loose bottom third, otherwise they're not going to go in. A loose middle third, so for me it's this light kind of turquoisey colour. So I've got loose for the first two, and then I want a tighter bottom third, so for me it's the pink. And to be able to tighten it along the strands by colour, I'm gonna just, so what I just I didn't really talk that through. I just pulled out that U-turn of fabric through the ring, so it's going through 2 rings and out of 1, and I just did a little bit of fanning out, and as I pull it through, you can see I'm working my fingers along so that I don't lose that work. So I'm aiming for something that looks like this. And now if I tighten up my pinks, my blues aren't moving. So now, how does that look? It's a bit of a pouch. I'm going to make this a tiny bit tighter, imagining that I've got a real seat popping child on my hands. So you can see this is significantly tighter than that is. I might even go just a stage more. Let's have a look at that. Yeah, that will do. So, and maybe just a touch looser on the top line to get them in. So by pre-making the pouch, it makes it much easier for a bottom to sink low. And if they are in this pelvic tuck, which is what we want them to end up in, with the bottom lower their knees, it's harder to throw your head back. It's much harder to suddenly stand up and out of it. So we want it like precision tightened under their bottom and thighs. Just come up here, fake baby. Hello, nice to meet you. So I'm pretending that this slightly too small really baby is a 4-month-old who's prone to a bit of seat popping. Leaning back to get them in. So first tip was, sorry, I have a cold. First tip was pre-make the pouch. Second tip is to sit them on the rope. So I'm imagining this 4-monther is a bit of a hip dweller at the moment. So I'm going to pop them down. Look this way, fake baby. On that rope of fabric. So it's going into one knee pit, underneath the bottom, all the way to the next knee pit. And I'm just going to have a little pause there and cuddle. And it might be, if this is a real kid, they're doing some pushing down and getting up. But I'm letting them get that out of their system a little bit. And just having a cuddle. I've still got a hand here because there's no back support. Sorry. But otherwise, maybe when you're feeling good, and you're like, yeah, this could work. At that point, I'm going to find the top hem. I might do it behind me, really. There you go. And I'd be leaving a hand. I'm going to lean so that I'm taking any flop risk onto my body. I'm going to put a hand at the bottom, just in case I have a manoeuvre on the way up. And I'm going to pull that fabric up to the top line. So I've got 2 places I can bunch excess fabric. I can bunch it up here, or I can bunch it down between the knees, in the knee pits. And if I've got someone who's prone to standing up, I really don't want any floppy fabric here, because that's all slack that they can use to manoeuvre, which is a bit hairy. So I'm going to bring it for my kid to the top of the shoulders. So I'm imagining that they have head control, but they aren't able to sit up unaided yet. If they were, it might be more to the top of the armpits. So I'm leaving a hand lingering near a bottom if I've got a seat popper. I'm going to sort the top line out. But hopefully by pre-making that pouch, there you go, I've given myself a bit of a head start, and it feels a little bit more stable. They might still be doing some jumping up and down. So if that bottom line has moved up onto their bottom, then I'm going to go between their legs and pull it back up between us, so there's quite a bit of fabric. Maybe that much fabric is pushing up between us. But if that fabric is floppy or loose, then eventually that slack will work its way into the carry, and it could be a bit hairy if someone uses that slack to try and jump up and down on that bottom line. So I'm going to take a hand. This is tip number 3. Tip number 1, pre-make the pouch. Tip number 2, sit them on the rope. Get that bottom low, let them get it out of their system, basically. Tip number 3, really work that bottom line precisely. So that bottom hem is what I mean. So I'm taking the slack here, so I've capped my shoulder. There's slack in that bottom hem. I'm going to take it into the knee pits. It's going to go between the two of us. See, I've pulled it out there, so it's going in a straight line now between one knee pit and the next knee pit. That straight line is between our bodies. It's kind of up in here. But crucially, it's not a floppy bit of fabric that's arching up between us. It's quite taut fabric. And I'm taking that slack, it was only about 1 inch round to my rings, and if I pull it out in the direction it's come from, which is that direction, it should stay a bit better. Okay, I'm feeling my baby's back, and I'm feeling, is there any slack in the carry? So it's just a tiny bit all over, so I'm just going to do a hand walking through that pouch. So I'm pulling the fabric in the direction it's come from, by and large. Good. And now, last check. If I've done all that really well, so I pre-made the pouch, sat them on the rope to let that bottom go low and get anything out of their system, and then precision tightened the bottom line so it's a straight line from one knee pit to the next knee pit, and all the bunched fabric is down at the knees in this version. It could be up at the top, but I find with a seat popper, I find that's better in the knee pit. I can do a last check. If I can reach under someone's bottom, get that hem and pull it up and over their bum, then they can get out. So that is an opportunity for a seat popper. They can still work quite hard and they might have a lovely time until they start to just relax a bit. But that would be my danger zone. If I can pull that hem over their bottom with a seat popper, if not with any kid, it's not particularly a safe carry because they could start to slide underneath, which would be a bit hairy. On this sling, I've got a really long tail, so I could use it for one extra last bonus trick. I'm going to take that into one knee pit, under a bottom, and underneath the back leg. So it goes into one knee pit, under one knee pit. I've made that quite tight, and then I'm going to tuck that up. Man, this tail is enormous. There we go. Into a rather attractive hunch. There we go. Behind me. And that's just an extra, it's not particularly stable, because although that is quite tight, if I wanted to, do you know what, I'd have to really work to pull that out. It could be done. I'd have to use some energy, but that's an extra reinforcement for the base. There we go. So those are my top tips. Pouch, sit them on the rope, precision tighten the bottom hem and bunch the fabric low, and then use your tail as an extra reinforcement. I hope that made sense. Sorry for my cold. Okay, thanks.